Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome all the students of Islamic Boys College Quetta to the second year English book Unit 4 Part A. This chapter, the poem The Spider and the Fly, there are some students learning outcomes. Number 1. Students will be able to skim text to infer theme, main idea. They will comprehend text by applying critical thinking. They will recognize genre of literature, especially poetry. They will recognize and learn personification and alliteration, which are figure of speech in literature, in English literature, and they will be able to illustrate the use of gerund and gerund phrases as far as grammar is concerned. And the last thing I will present is how to deliver or how to create a good group class presentation. As far as the introduction of the poem, The Spider and the Fly is concerned, this poem is written by Mary Howitt. Mary Howitt was born in 1799 and she died in 1888. She was educated in her home. She is a famous English poetess, historian, and essayist. She is famous for her this poem, The Spider and the Fly. She has also written some other poems for children, rhyming poems for children, and she is famous for children's poem. Today we are going to discuss the spider and the fly. We are going to first narrate. We are going to first see the narration of the poem. Okay, students, as we recently heard the narration of the poem, it was a video in the YouTube I played for you. Hope you will go through the poem and read by yourself. It is a basic characteristics of the poem that the more you read it, the more you get the meaning, the more you can get ideas from the poem. Basically, if we discuss a little bit about poem and its analysis, poems or poetry, they are few in words, but they have a lot of meaning. They have deep meaning. It depends on you how you take meaning from those lines. What I explain today might be different from your explanation. I want you to become an independent learner. So go through the poem once, twice, thrice. The more you read, the more you will get through the poem. Okay, now I would like to present the explanation of the stanza number one and stanza number two for this lecture. Okay, as you heard this first stanza, which consists of 6 lines. In the first stanza, there is a dialogue. There are two characters. The first character is the spider, and the second character is the fly. You see that there is a dialogue between these two characters, the spider and the fly. They are talking to each other. What is going on is that the spider seems to invite a guest into his house. So there is, we can say, a dialogue. As Adali says that a person is hidden under his tongue. Now, just this, I mean, sentence that we are hidden under our tongue can be applied to this poem. You will see through the lines of the poem, through the dialogues and the quotations of the characters, how the person is, what is his intention, what does he want. So we will apply this throughout the poem. You can see that the writer or the poetess has used animal character to convey a lesson, to teach us a lesson, to teach us a basic universal theme. What is the theme? What is the lesson? We are going to discover it. Class, see in stanza 1, we come to a few lines, and you see that spider's pursuit of the fly with a charming invitation into his home. The spider wants that once, just for once, uh, this bird or this little fly comes into his house. What does he do for this purpose? He pay Now just pay close attention to the spider's words. He uses, will you walk into my parlor? He calls his house his parlor. Which kind of parlor? The prettiest little parlor. Like he is, we can say, praising his own place. He is praising his, we can say, parlor, so that the fly could come. And now there is also another word, spy. Spy means in Urdu jasusi karna. And the act of spying is to watch something secretly. We share secrets and confidences and our with our close ones. Now you see that in the day-to-day relationship, we have friends, we have relatives, we have a lot of people who are in contact with us. So those people who want to discover the secrets about you, you tell your friends your secrets, and you know that if someday he becomes your enemy, if he knows more and more secrets about you, so it creates a lot of problem for you. In this sense, the writer has used this word, the spy. Now see, throughout this first stanza, the fly, the spider has used words, has used his utmost, we can say, power to call him to come into his parlor. But here, since the fly knows that whoever goes into his parlor, he never comes back again. Now see, the in the last two lines, oh no no, said the little fly. To ask means in vain. In vain means it is useless. For who goes up your winding stair can never come down again. So in the first stanza, in short, there is a dialogue between two characters, the spider and the fly. The spider is calling the fly to come into his house. He is calling him. He's inviting him as a guest using good words, and we will further know the intention of the spider in the coming stanza. So come to the stanza number two. In stanza number two, we know more about the dialogues, the way they are talking to each other. Like if we talk about stanza number two, the dialogue continues between the spider and the fly. Once again, he uses his words. This time, you can say he used flattery words to call the fly into his house. But in the beginning of this stanza, the spider seems to pose himself as a helper, as a sympathizer, the one who want to sympathize someone. He says that now you are so, we can say, you have we can fly flown so high. You are, we can say, the spider says to the fly that you must be dearly, you must need some rest. Therefore, he sympathizes. Now, in also a spider is in previous stanza, we come to the conclusion that the fly refused to come into the spider's house. But here, the spider seems to be hopeful. He is not hopeless, trying to hunt his guest. How he hunt his guest? He use flattery. For instance, he is using soaring up so high. Soaring up so high means that, in short, it means flight. But he uses a lot of words like flattery, like a praise, so that he could hunt him. In the second stanza, it goes further that he uses like this snugly tuck in. Snugly tuck means to ensure a comfortable snooze. Interestingly, the fine and the thin sheets bring to mind the fine silk of a cow web. Like here, the writers that he uses fine and thin sheets, it means that the intention of spider is that once the fly comes in my house, so he will sleep forever. That sleep, that slumber, that rest forever. Rest forever means that he is going to hunt him. He is going to, you can say, eat him. So he will have no more life to wander. So permanent slumber and means rest forever. This time she is even more firm, like the way in previous stanza, the fly refused to come. This time he is more firm to refuse, like the repetition. Oh no no no, never never wake again. This indicates that the fly has refused, and he is firm on his refusal. He has no any doubt that he is not going to enter into the house of the spider. So like this was the end of the second stanza. The repetition also indicate that he is not ready to go. Here we end this lecture. We will discuss further stanzas of this poem, The Spider and the Fly, in the next lecture. Hope you have understood. Go through the poem, have a read, and we will be further discuss this poem.